All right, let's dive in. Today, we're cracking open one of the most mysterious and honestly ambitious books I've ever come across. Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. So, is this thing just a huge encyclopedia of weird old ideas, or could it be something more? Maybe a key to a code that's been hidden throughout all of human history. Let's find out. The entire idea behind Hall's work really boils down to one fascinating question. What if all the myths, all the religions, and all the philosophies we know of weren't actually telling separate stories? What if they were all speaking one hidden language, a language that was designed to preserve a single, profound truth, but only for those who knew how to look for it? And get this, the guy who proposed this was barely in his 20s. Back in 1928, a self-taught scholar named Manly P. Hall managed to get subscribers to fund his great work up front. This wasn't just some book. It was a colossal project that took him years of intense research to put together. He wasn't just writing, he was trying to reassemble a lost library of human wisdom. And just take a look at the book's own description. This is not exactly light reading, right? Hall literally set out to create an encyclopedia of hidden, or what you might call esoteric philosophy. He wanted to connect the dots between secret societies and ancient mystical traditions from all over the globe. So you gotta ask, why did Hall feel a book like this was even necessary? Well, to get that, we need to understand the problem he was trying to solve: the completely tangled and often contradictory history of human thought. If you try to trace the history of Western philosophy, it feels like you're lost in a maze. You start with the ancient Greeks, and boom, it splinters into dozens of different schools. Then comes scholasticism, trying to stitch it all back together with theology. That's followed by the Reformation, which just tears it all apart again. And that brings us to the modern era, which is just a sea of competing isms: idealism, realism, rationalism, you name it. Hal looked at this whole messy landscape and just saw a tragedy. He believed that by arguing over all the little details, these schools of thought had completely lost sight of the big questions. What's our purpose? What's our destiny? Those sublimer issues, as he called them, had just been forgotten. And this brings us right to the heart of the problem. If every great thinker and every great civilization seems to land on a different version of the truth, how is anyone supposed to find real meaning? Is there some kind of common thread, or is it all just intellectual chaos? This is where Hall's work takes a hard turn. It stops being a history book and becomes something far more radical. He proposed a unifying theory for this whole labyrinth. And his answer wasn't just another ism to throw on the pile. Oh no, it was a complete reframing of how we should be looking at history itself. Okay, so here's the absolute core of his idea. Hall argued that there aren't a bunch of conflicting truths. Instead, there's one single secret doctrine. He believed that an original, complete understanding of the cosmos was known to our earliest ancestors, and that it's been secretly passed down through a chain of initiates, sages, mystics, and philosophers ever since. According to Hall, this incredible knowledge was never really meant for everybody. It was kept under lock and key, safeguarded in what were known as the mystery schools of the ancient world. Places like Eleusis in Greece or the temples of Egypt, where initiates had to go through secret rites to get this wisdom. Okay, but think about it. If you're going to hide a universal truth in plain sight for thousands of years, how do you even do that? You can't just write it down in a book. Languages die, books burn. You need a much more durable kind of code. And this is where it gets really clever. Hall claims the language of this secret doctrine is symbolism. See, a symbol is the perfect way to hide knowledge because it works on two levels. For most people, it's just a picture. But for someone who knows the code, it reveals a deep, profound concept. It's both a lock and a key, all at the same time. So you see all these different symbols from all over time and space. A serpent wrapped around an egg, which was an ancient symbol for the cosmos. Crosses, astrological signs. To most of us, they look totally unrelated, but Hall would argue they're not. They're all just different attempts to draw a picture of these huge metaphysical ideas, using a shared visual language that goes way beyond any single culture. All right, so armed with this key, this idea of a universal symbolic language, Hall goes on this incredible tear through all of history, reinterpreting pretty much everything. And the sheer scope of this book is just breathtaking. He's tracing this hidden thread everywhere, from initiation rituals inside the Egyptian pyramids to the legends of Atlantis, From the weird formulas of alchemists, where turning lead into gold was really a symbol for the soul's journey, to the allegories of the Rosicrucians, he decodes the symbols of Freemasonry, the complex diagrams of the Qabbalah, and even the mysterious pictures on tarot cards. To Hall, these are all just different chapters in the exact same secret book. This is such a great example of how he thought. We look at this old diagram of the universe with the Earth in the center, and we kind of laugh, right? We call it bad science. But Hall says, whoa, what if we're reading it all wrong? He argues this was never meant to be a map of the physical solar system. It's a symbolic diagram of the human soul and its relationship to the divine. It's a spiritual map, not a scientific one. So, when you step back, you realize this rereading of history serves a much, much deeper purpose. This isn't just an intellectual game, it's a direct challenge to our entire modern way of looking at the world. Because at the end of the day, the whole point of Hall's massive effort wasn't just to collect a bunch of strange facts. It was to present an alternative way of seeing reality, one where life isn't just some random accident of matter, but part of a grand, meaningful, and intelligent design. And I mean, he says it himself, right in the preface of the book. His goal is to offer a hypothesis of living that operates completely outside the limits of modern materialism. He's asking us to seriously consider that there might be a spiritual reality that's just as real, if not more so, than the physical one we see every day. And that's what it all comes down to. That's the fascinating question the book leaves us with. Is the secret teachings of all ages just a big collection of historical fantasies? Or is it something like a Rosetta Stone for a lost language? A language that, if we could ever learn to read it again, might just reveal that history, and our place in it, is far more mysterious and magical than we ever imagined.